Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, welcome back to another best of 7. Today we'll be having a look at a couple of games played between Reynor and Clem on the new maps. Yep, these are indeed the new maps, new mapu. So Reynor opens up with a you don't make the Reaper and I don't make the first 4 links, okay? I wonder if Clem has a snappy response to that, or if Clem is just going to build a Reaper and kill 2 links. Sounds like a scam to me is what he says, alright. That does sound like a little bit of a scam, as I think the Reaper is a little bit bigger, more useful than just... Oh, look at that. They're bantering. They're good friends. Reynor's in a good mood. You'll love to see it. Beautiful. Hatch first here, coming out of the Italian Zerg player. Map is called Curious Minds. Now let's zoom out a little bit, have a quick look at it. So what's interesting about this map, you might be wondering? Well, you have a difficult to defend third phase. Like there's a lot of space here. There's a maybe this is your third actually. I'm not sure yet. I really am not sure. On top of that, there's lots of open space in general. You have a tower that covers the majority of the bottom area, and you have a watchtower that covers the majority of the top area as well. I'm not quite sure what this is, but this is a logo of some sorts. Looks actually a bit like the bell on that logo. And yeah, it's a nice map. The aesthetics of all the new maps are very pleasing. This is the one thing I have to admit. You can dislike the maps for whatever reason, but they're beautiful. They look very nice. And of course, let's not forget, cleaning bots. Cleaning bot over here. I believe there's a cleaning bot in the main base. There might even be 2 in the main base. So lots of critters to kill. That's beautiful always. It's one of the things I do like. Now, let's have a look. Ooh. What's the path of that Reaper? Okay, he's gonna jump down here off that Reaper jump cliff. I didn't even know that was a thing. Let's just follow the Reaper, see where he goes. He's gonna go through the middle. Don't forget, in the middle there's a bunch of rocks, which you can kill. They're surrounded by purple lights. Looks more like a disco than a StarCraft 2 map to me, but it is what it is. Okay, there's a... Oh, you can jump into the natural. I didn't quite realize that either. Nice little jump spot there for the Reaper. Let's see if this Reaper is going to be capable of doing anything. And yep, that's one drone. So although Reynor decided to build the 4 links, the Reaper already got its value here. I wonder what this Reaper is actually going to end up doing. Oh, that... Was that intentional? Oh, yeah, well, oh, careful my friend. Well, it's going to stay alive for now. Triple CC is the opener for Clem. We'll see what he decides to follow up with. Could be a starport, could also be a kind of classic second Rex before Hellions. Not going to be the case. We'll see a starport being built before the Hellions most likely. Yep, there comes the starport. Second gas, and then he'll start his Hellion production at some point as well. So this is most likely going to be his Banshee opener, which has been a favorite of his for, well, quite some time. Let's put it like that. Tech Lab's coming down now as well, so the cleaning bot is just looking at all of this. He's like, oh, it used to be way cleaner back there. Well, actually, is it cleaning? Actually, it does have like a... Does it have a cleaning animation? It's just standing around. Idiot. This is why I take out the critters. They're just a waste of space. Oh, nice grenade here. It's going to catch 4 of the links. The car is not going to come in time. Well, actually, it might come in time. This is such a weird pathing here. In the middle, looks odd. And we see that Reynor took this base. He requires a lot of creep, and there's a lot of area, a lot of space for these Hellions to kind of move around. Now, once you kind of cut off this area as a Zerg, then all of a sudden those rotations become all the way around here, because you can't just use this area no more. So this area is absolutely key on this map for the Terran to kind of hold and make sure that the creep doesn't just easily reach there, because the moment you lose that area and this happens, your rotations become painfully long. Oh, that's a nice grenade there. It's gonna go in for a bit of a jump. There's only 4 links. I think he's going to get a jump actually. Gets 2 of the links, doesn't get any of the drones. Nice start though here for Clem. He's forcing out a couple of more links as well on the other side. 6 extra links on the way, I believe it was. Cloak is being researched. Stim is on the way. And here come the extra barracks right now. Is this going to be 6 cars? No, there's already 7 cars out. It's going to be 8 cars. And double barracks on the way already. Okay. Interesting. 1 car is going to be a little bit delayed. This Banshee is looking for damage. Is probably not going to find it. Doesn't have cloak quite yet. Spores are in production. Ooh, it's going to be a quad spore defense. 4 spores here for Reynor. Making sure that Banshee won't be able to do much of anything. Probably because the rotation for the queens is very long from the third base to the main. Don't really mind the way that Clem is playing here. Kind of gave up on attacking this area, by the way, as once that gets secured, the Hellions feel practically useless. The rush distance on this map is tiny, by the way. I didn't quite realize that, but look how quick it is from third to third. That's great for Terran usually. We'll see if Clem gets to make some use of that. I guess it's also great for roach rushers, right? You're going to be hitting so freaking quick. Now, there's no overseer here with this army, which means that these banshees are actually dishing out a fair amount of damage. One of the queens will fall. A lot of transfuses are being used. There's no... Where's the overseer? Hello? No overseer, and the only... Oh, it's gonna get surrounded here with the Hellions. It's gonna lose 1, 2. 2 cars go down, 1 car very low. 2 drones fall as well. Fourth base is being taken here on the bottom side and is pretty late. Which means that extra drones at this point for Reynor don't make a whole lot of sense no more. He's currently on, what is this, 4 gases. It's going to go up to 5 gases. And he's on 68 workers, going up to 70. Yikers. It's looking painful, looking painful. Here come the Banshees into the natural. Queens are in position. Reynor, one of the only players that uses multiple groups of queens usually. So we see the queens move more individual than... with most other players who just have one big blob of queens. And as I say it, of course, see, here we go. 2 queens over here, then 5 over here. That's not completely uncommon, though. But usually he has, like, the creep queens even spread out to deal better with everything. And his queen movement in general is just fantastic. His speed, his speed at which he checks things, his vision on the minimap, and his precision are second to none. 5th base being taken here, Overseer finally getting morphed in as the layer finished up. We are on 5 gases here and seem to be going into a Ling Bane focus style, probably eventually going into that Hydra list then to start popping out a couple of Hydras. Not too many Marines are showing up here, as Clem is hitting a little bit later with his push than usual as well. 640 the usual timing, this time hits at 710, curious why that is. I can't quite see it, to be honest. Also with less Marines. So, sloppy opener here for Clem, who's messing up his build order a little bit. That's going to have consequences going on into this game. I think he might have otherwise had a bit of a timing here. I've seen this build being used, by the way, if the Hellions stay alive with a quick armory. Okay, we're moving into an Atrax. So, a lot of investment here into that quick infrastructure. We even see reactors being built on these barracks. That's not always the case. And tank is going to be the weapon of choice here for the French Terran. He's going to be pushing forward with pure marine tank. And a very late 4th base, if even a 4th base. The main goal of this build is to force a fight once you get your 2-2. And you get around 160, 170 supply, you start moving out. And you hope that you can hit before Vipers or before anything big is out. Ideally, you're playing against Hydra Bane. That is one of the ideal scenarios, because Hydralisk are just not very good against this army. Hydralisk are good once you get the lurkers, but by themselves they kind of suck. Pureling Bane tends to be the better decision, or tends to be the better composition. Of course, I don't think Reynor was quite aware of what's happening. I still think Reynor is not quite aware of what's happening right now. He's going to be scouting. Well, is he going to be scouting? Perhaps through some aggression. As I think just purely by the movement, Reynor should be capable of understanding that something odd is going on. Now the 3rd base is being assaulted here by a couple of Lings, couple of Banes trying to go in as well. 2 tanks will save it. Tank count actually only on 4. 4 Hellbats are at the top side defending this watchtower. As Clem is maxed. His 1-1 finishes up finally. Infantry armor really late here. This doesn't look like a fight that he can take though. Hydralisk will take out half of the tanks that are currently on the map. Well, that's not quite true. No, actually, that is true. Those 2 tanks are on the map. Half of those got taken out. In total, still 3 tanks remaining. This army gets completely cleaned up. Clem gets pushed back. And there's a little bit of trouble here. 108 army supply, but down 2 upgrades at this point. Tank count, extremely low. Hydra count is at 18, which isn't great for Reynor. Much would have preferred seeing more Banelings here, but... as there really isn't a whole lot of tanks, perhaps Hydras aren't even that bad. One of the main issues, of course, being that there's no upgrades whatsoever on these Hydras. There's no hive... Oh, there's no hive on the way yet either. So this is going to be a pure Ling Bane party. Usually if more tanks are over here, Perhaps Vipers are more useful. But as the tank count is extremely low, it feels like this push for Clem has... I mean, it's just... It's dead on arrival, it almost feels like. No? Second factory is now being constructed, but... it just seems to be too late, in my opinion. Once again, Clem moving forward, 3 tanks total, 66 Marines, and the Baneling count is at 21, which should be plenty. We have a slow push, a slow crawl forward. These Helbots haven't done anything in a couple of minutes at this point. We have a drop heading towards that top side, but it's not like clearing creep is going to save you in this game, Clem. Tanks get caught unsieged as Reynor moves in. Banelings will not get the connections that they want, and... Actually pretty decent control here out of Clem, taking out a couple of Banelings, but I think too many Banelings right now are going to be rolling in for them to be targeted down. This has to be a pick. Oh my god. He just keeps going. Off creep, you just can't fight against Clem. Is that just what it is? You just can't fight against him. It's just not possible. This gets picked up as well. Quick responses here. Let's have a fast first person view here out of the French Terran. Main base gets lifted towards the 4th. As we're averaging about 400 APM. Plus 3 gets started. Tank production has pretty much halted at this point. We're at 2 tanks. You notice that he's mainly just looking at his army here. He's going to be microing back. Not a whole lot of multitasking. And well, as I say that, we do see a bit of multitasking. Starts pre-spreading. Targets down one of those Banelings. Doesn't use any F2 here because these Helbots have been here for a while, which means it can be tricky to get the reinforcements to where you want them to. Need to send those manually in that case. Big engagement here out of Reynor. Let's take a look at these splits. Are they good? Yes, they're good. Are they good enough? I don't know. I just think we're lacking a little bit of splash here as the 2 final tanks with this push do go down. There's 2 tanks still at home, which could be brought over. This little drop is going to cancel a 6th base, but... let's be real here. We're looking at a Zerg mining 3.4k minerals a minute. A Zerg that's on Viper tech is getting seismic spines and probably lurkers quickly against practically a 3 base all in here out of the Terran. Terran on 66 workers against 85 for the past 4 or 5 minutes. It seems like Clem's aggression is bleeding out a little bit. More Banelings are on the way. Flank is being set up here out of Reynor. The tanks do find that flank. I just don't think there's enough Marines. There's not enough damage output here in this army to just deal with this and to stand the ground. Here comes the move forward. Parasitic Bomb could be casted on those medevacts as the pickups do occur. Ooh, a couple of abducts instead are being used, and 2 medevacts will go down. One of them full, one of them empty. Reynor in a pretty commanding lead here. This game on Curious Minds. 2 Vipers are going to be siphoning a little bit more of that energy of that hatchery. As the first 8 lurkers are being produced right now. A tense moment. Clem is pushing forward. Will not be able to get the lurkers before they get done. Try to push in. Instead we'll get a couple of these Banelings. Same time we have a big Ling run by happening towards, well, the 3rd base. And Parasitic Bomb, Medevac gets microed away, but... Oh, one of these lurkers, well, barely not going to get taken out. Infantry weapons level 3 are about to finish up, but... Reynor is just so insanely rich. Still has some larva in the bank as well. 11 more Hydros on the way. Adaptive Talents about to finish up. Adrenal Glands, plus 3 Carapace, and plus 2 Range are all on the way here. And the longer this game will go, the better it's going to get for the Italian Zerg, who... after struggling a lot with Clem recently, right now is showing a masterclass in TVZ, especially when it comes to beating that Atrax. Let's not forget that this was a very dedicated effort out of the Terran here. And this wasn't really supposed to go this long. Clem is making the best of it, but even the best of this poor situation will still remain a poor situation. Cute little move there with the medevac, making sure that this empty medevac with a little more HP tanks those initial spore shots. Tries to drop into the main base, it's not going to work out. 6th base will get taken out, but let's face it here. Clem wants to keep dancing as long as the music plays. But Clem doesn't realize that the music stopped playing a while ago. So this 4th base now is going to get run by on as well. Lurkers are moving in, Banelings are moving in. Another 20 or so workers will go down. The 3 tanks at home will be enough to hold back this army for now. But Reynor says, I don't really need your natural. I'm still on 5 bases. As long as I can deny your 4th base, as long as I can deny your 3rd base, I think I'm going to be quite happy, because there's going to be 3 mineral patches mining at this point. There's a fully mining base here for Reynor. There's half a mining base here for Reynor. There's a bunch of drones that can long distance. He can retake this base. And I think at this point Clem is definitely running out of steam as this drop gets shut down. The top side gets shut down as well. The tank gets abducted, and Clem at this point has nowhere to go, it feels like. He's gonna move back. I wouldn't mind seeing a hold position here. Well, not anymore, but I guess it has kind of been revealed at this point that indeed there are lurkers here. Scan forward. Hold position wouldn't have worked. And yeah, Clem is going to try to break out. I don't think this is quite going to... No, there's no more scans. No more scans. Clem kills himself into the lurker spines as the final 3 tanks will get taken out right now. And GG should get called any second now. Good start for Clem. Atrax did not work out though. And now he will have to basically eat that as a consequence. Atrax not the strategy to go for against Reynor. 1-0 for Reynor. Atrax not the strategy for Clem. 1-0 for Reynor. We'll be heading into game number 2. Good lord. Speaking is difficult. Game number 2 between Clem and Reynor here. It's going to be played on Pride of Altaris. And this is a large map. No, this is a... That is indeed what it is. That is... It's a huge map. I was going to say it's a very large map. Clem is very happy with that. I always hate it when people are being funny while they're winning as well. I can't stand it. Whenever I'm playing, someone is up 1-0 in the best of 3, best of 5 or best of 7, and they say something like this, I'd be fuming. I feel like Clem is the same as me. He's also fuming. That's why I just sent the passive-aggressive emoji, just with the smiley face. That's definitely passive-aggressive. That's not a happy smiley face. There's pain hidden behind that smile. I can feel it. Look at that. That guy does not look happy. So yeah, let's just think about this map for a little bit, okay? We have a third... well, what is it? Line 3rd base. Okay, this is going to be the 3rd base. This will be the 4th base. And this will be the 5th. We have some tank position down here, maybe? It's a little bit far, isn't it? Tank position towards the middle, and then over here. That's still too far away. Tank position towards the 3rd. Maybe low ground here. This looks like it has some potential, maybe. Perhaps behind these rocks, then marine. Yeah, it's also too far down here. It's gonna be rough to see some pressure, and as the map is rather large, that usually means it's good for Zerg. Huh. Reaper is being built here once again. Let's see if he gets a drone or not. Overlord's making his way across the map. We're gonna hopefully find out what the plan here is for Clem. Be surprised to see another Atrax after it completely failed in that last game. Of course, always a possibility though to Atrax. Maybe if you have a really good early game. I mean, it's always possible. Reaper's gonna make its way across the map. Peek at the watchtower. And go... Oh, there's a jumping spot here. Cool little jumping spots here. I like that they're all being indicated with little things on the map as well. Look at that. Pop, pop. That is really cool. It doesn't look intrusive. It looks nice. Once again, an aesthetically pleasing map. Look at how beautiful this map is. Holy crap. I'm the person who made this map to design my house. This looks really cool. Nothing really being killed though, and once again we have a ramp here, which means that the Screw Tumor gets to go up for free. 3rd base is being taken in the line, kind of like expected. I kind of feel like the Terran should be taking the forward base here, rather than the line base, and then the line base would make a perfect 4th. But this also has potential as a 4th, right? It denies this angle from run-bys, but maybe not as important. We'll have to see what Clem decides to do. Once again going into a triple CC, and we see a second Marine being produced into most likely a tech lab for... No, actually, second Marine. This feels more like Viking to me at this point. This is gonna be one of those games where we're most likely gonna see like 6 Hellion, 1 Viking, fast stim as well. Really cool build order. Really cool build order. I'd be surprised to see something else. Okay. Oh, in this case I'm surprised. Because we are seeing something else. We're seeing a tech lab being built here on the starport. You see a tech lab being built here on the barracks as well. Oh, it's a Raven maybe. This could very well be a Raven. Okay, cool. Haven't seen those builds in a while. There we go. Yeah, I'm just looking at that tech lab production. I'm like, this makes no sense. And then in my head I go, well, is there another unit from the tech lab that I'm forgetting? I mean, well, the battle cruiser you require a fusion core, but obviously it's going to be a Raven here. We have seen Clem use this a little bit in the DreamHack Masters. Not always to great success, but sometimes it just helps out so much. Of course, that early detection against creep tumors, the fact that you can always harass with those turrets is just really freaking nice. 5 queens are on the hunt. Well, not really on the hunt, more on the defense. The defensive hunt. They're looking for damage on these Hellions. Throwing their darts. Oh, Clem is gonna get one tumor, not the worst case scenario. Here we see that queen split that I was talking about earlier. 2 queen groups are being split. Very little queens at home right now, but the inject should resume quickly as we have 8 queens out total. Stim is being researched as well. And we're going into the double E-base. 3rd is already on location, and this is just looking like a very standard game. It's going to be 6 car, by the way. You could say whenever you build a Raven that 8 car feels like it would always provide some value. Ooh, look at this. This is a tasty lope. Tastelope? Tasty? Is it because it's tasty? Or how would you pronounce this? Tastelope. That's beautiful. Beautiful creature. Okay, 1 Hellion is going to go down. But the reason why 6 Hellion makes more sense is because if you only go single starport unit, single starport unit, is that you just don't really... You're going to be floating money otherwise. Because you want that factory, that reactor that the factory has. You require it for a barracks, and also the second reactor on this barracks is usually produced by the factory. So you just delay your marine production for no real reason. Well, for 2 more cars, but... It feels extremely inefficient. Then you might as well get a second starport unit, which Clem didn't want. So very often when we see single starport unit, it's going to be 6 cars. We've even seen 4 car stuff with single starport units. Viking into 4 car or single lip into 4 car used to be something, but just pure Liberator isn't really much of a thing anymore these days. Zergs just have gotten so good at spreading their overlords, getting in position. Ooh, it's going to be Spire. That makes sense, right? A map this size. Usually the larger the map, the better Mutalisks are going to be. So Clem is hitting here with a decent chunk of Marines. And with the Raven, we'll be able to clear a bunch of creep for free. That's really nice actually here for Clem. He's going to be able to pick off an Overlord as well. Maybe throw down a turret here and there. A lot of that creep is going to get taken out. Turrets. No turrets. Now we're going to see some... No, we're not going to see some turrets. It's just going to be used for harass instead. I do like this out of Clem. I really do like this. Triple Spore was built, by the way, so Reynor was still afraid of something. This Raven is getting in position to start being an annoying little prick. And it's going to be an annoying little prick. Well, so far nowhere. Clem remains to be on the map. He's actually going to get caught out of his position here. Kind of uncharacteristic for the French Terran. He's going to lose a bunch of Marine, loses a medevac as well. Gonna run all the way back home, which is a long run. A couple of turrets here, taking out 6 drones total. 11 kills so far on this Raven, so a couple of links must have also gone down. 5 to be exact. First 11 mutas are on the way out. 734 into the game. Drilling Claws is on the way. As well as triple mine production already. So this is more the Clem style that we're also used to, you know? Little groups of units moving around the map, trying to dish out the damage. Excuse me. Almost choked on some oxygen there. Happens to the best. 10 Mutalisks. Turrets not done yet. Turrets barely just starting now. These Mutalisks will be able to trade with some of these Marines. 1 Muta is going to go down, 2 Marines, and 4 SCVs for a Mutalisk is a trade that Reynor is going to be happy with, especially as he managed to reach 89 workers already. Sure, he's on 4 base and is going to be slightly oversaturated, or I can only imagine. Some slight oversaturation happening, probably in the main base, yep. Fifth base is a necessity. These mutalisks have been putting in a lot of damage though. 3 mutas have gone down, but so did 11 workers already. And the income disparity is growing. It's not getting smaller. Good control out of Clem. Well, whoa. I say that, I think it lost like 6-7 Marines there. Ends up not being the greatest control. Fourth base has finished up at this point. 2-2 is about to finish as well. 2-2 hasn't even started for Reynor. That's a little bit of an error. As 8 Marines make it into the main base of Reynor. These mutalisks, although they are low in number, are high when it comes to being annoying. High annoyance factor for Clem. 2 turrets once again go down. I'll start working on this extractor. Will not be able to finish the job, but almost get a muta here. And do force a pull off the line of those drones. Now, I'm not quite sure what these Marines are doing, but they're having a blast shooting at this Overlord. Will get taken out. This medevac also, yeah, I don't know what. Clem just... there wasn't even an F2. It must have been some miscontrol there with control groups. 2-2 has finished up. Supplies are looking good for Clem here. It's, the only thing that can save Reynor at this point is a couple of good Baneling connections. The creep actually has been pushed back a fair amount as well. Mine count is at 14, which is a high number. Hellbats at the front to tank. Banelings moving in. Some of these medevacs are getting low. Actually, just one of them. Clem's being very careful. It feels like this army is a lot smaller than what it should be. There's a bunch of units at home. Raven is at home being repaired right now, or is about to be repaired perhaps. 13 mines, but... well, actually, there's a crap ton over here. There's 6 mines here at the front, which means you can get very cost-efficient trades. Which is really what Clem needs, right? Because he's still getting outmined. Not as bad as before, but there's a bit of a bank here for Reynor. These mutas are going in, taking out the depot for potential run-bys. So that depot all gets taken out. 5th base is now on the way. 84 workers still here. Oh! Wait, how did none of these mines shoot? That makes no sense. It is what it is. Clem kind of out of position and not really responding to the threat of the mutalisks. Probably busy focusing here on these Marines. Let's have a quick first-person look here. See what the Frenchie is doing. He's mainly controlling his units. Checking his mines, making sure they're still alive. And I kind of like what he does, is that he leaves these mines behind. Because... Oh, good door shot there. One of these medevacts might go down. 1, 2. No, just one of them goes down. Reynor needs to be careful. I think Clem spotted that run by, potentially there. What do we have moving across the map here? This looks to be a... Oh, it's a Raven. Mr. Raven with the 14 kills. Big spender when it comes to energy. Big killer when it comes to drones and links. Once again, we'll end up going into this fort base. Doubles the turrets, and yep, there we go. Is there target fire here out of Clem? Not really, but we'll be able to pick off a couple of drones anyway, so that's nice. 77 workers against 76 as we're back in the first person. Creep almost non-existent. 4 turrets are being built in a nice little formation there as the Raven finally does go down. Clem quickly swapping through the bases, will set up his 5th base as he's pushing forward. Take out the critter, take out the critter, come on. Do it, my friend. You want that tasty low. Alright, he's not going to be doing it. So we have no flank coming out of Reynor. An engagement just from one side usually doesn't bode too well for a Zerg, but here manages to push it back as the Baneling numbers are just massive. 42 Banelings. Thor's going to get taken out. Baneling still moving forward. Unit lost heavily in favor of Clem so far this game, but the mining has just been a little bit... Oh! That could have potentially been a big hit, but it ended up being a small hit. Good control out of Reynor here, and Reynor's actually pushing forward. Maybe wants to think about killing a base. 9 more mutas on the way. Still a bit of... Ooh, that was a mine. Needs to be careful. It's on 8 gas currently. Wouldn't mind seeing 10 gas and 10 more workers here. For Reynor, as the gas count is getting lower. 2-2 is done for Reynor. Hive is about to finish, but once again we're going to have an upgrade lead here for the French Terran. With 2 Marines denying this potential 6th base, or trying to deny this potential 6th base. Actually, we'll be able to get it. That's big. It's not going to be a cancel. These links, they show up a little bit too late to save that base. That's a solid 300 minerals that you're not going to see back, including not including that drone yet. So it feels like there's a lot of mines, but a lot of them are just set at home. I don't necessarily mind that, but it does mean that these attacks are a little less powerful. And as Reynor hasn't really been utilizing these run-bys too much. So far, they've kind of been wasted supply. And as we speak, we have Mutalisk trying to fly into the 4th base, now going into the natural. Mutalisk count is at 20, plus 2 attack as well. So these guys, this is no small threat. You know what I'm saying? This is a decent flock here. Decently sized flock of Muta. This mine needs to probably start moving towards the top area as well. Sadly didn't do that. That could have potentially been some big hits there. Of course, I can zoom out. Clem can't. 20 workers have gone down over the past few minutes. More turrets are being constructed right now, but not necessarily going to be done before these mutas show up to this base. Now there's only going to be 2 turrets remaining. Single turret remaining. Mine will not be able to help out here. A lot of these SCVs are going to be going down. Mine will get taken out as well, and a mule rains down from the sky. I'm not quite sure what this is for, but should definitely start considering moving that back to mining. Does do that indeed. 23 workers have gone down as we have Clem pushing forward here with his superior upgrades. Small drop flying straight into a spore and about 18 Mutalisk. Big Ling Bane counter attack here as well out of the Italian Zerg player, who will be able to blow up this planetary. SCVs need to evacuate. Will make it home alive, at least most of them will. This orbital is actually in danger of dying as well. Needs to be careful. Yep, we'll end up lifting it. Needs to get repaired. Banelings here somehow managing to get behind the enemy lines. 58 workers left for Clem, 79 for Reynor, who needs to start thinking about establishing a 6th base. Seems to be difficult on this map. This bottom base being occupied currently by 2 Marines. Oh, a couple of big. Oh, good control out of Reynor. He's going to end up taking out 5-6 mines for minimal losses. This base is a goner, or should be a goner if these banelings are controlled properly. Doesn't seem to quite be the case yet. Very sloppy control out of Reynor here. Will end up getting the base, but could have been better. Same time we have this base being denied, and Clem moving forward. Clem completely dry when it comes to money, by the way. Doesn't quite have the mine count here with this either to really fight high numbers of banelings. And high numbers of banelings is going to be the name of the game, as 25 more are being created. 4 are rolling back home. At the same time, 3rd base is being completely destroyed by Ling Mutalisk. Clem is completely all in with this attack. Needs to dish out a lot of damage. What is the baneling count? 19 banelings. 26 banelings. Alright, here we go. Marauders in the front. Thor in the medevac. And Clem tries to run away, but there's creep everywhere he looks. Mutalisk coming in from the side with a bit of a flank. And I think Clem is getting pushed back just slightly too hard over here. 35 workers have gone down on the side of Clem. 12 workers gone down on the side of Reynor. Reynor lost a base, sure, but Reynor is still mining from this base. Reynor is still mining from this 4th base as well. If he reestablishes, he'll technically be on, well, this is still 2 base mining, right? There's a couple of mineral patches in the natural, a couple of mineral patches in the 4th. And what does Clem have? Well, Clem is actually mining here. That actually gives him decent income. And he's mining here, 6, 7 patches. Not the end of the world when it comes to income. Problem perhaps that is slightly larger and, is the fact that his army is so tiny. And that a big part of his army supply is right now in medevacs. Now, I'm all for personal healing and good health care for all, but this is overdoing it a little bit perhaps, as the ratio of fighting units to supporting units is, well, that is slightly out of balance at this point. There's no real DPS in this army. Mines will need to hit big. Of course, this push can succeed. Army supply is still higher here for Clem. First few banelings are going to connect in a massive way, though. Ling run by where the Mutalisk, actually. Mutalisk are here with this army, and we'll be able to pick up some of these medevacs, maybe. Boost back. We'll be able to save a majority of them. As I say, that 2-3 go down at the tail end of that engagement. Banelings moving forward. Mine in the back. We'll be able to get a hit. We'll be able to get a hit. One Muta does end up going down here. Adrenal glands hadn't been researched yet. Huge mistake out of Reynor. Realizing it just now. I hadn't realized that either. And Clem needs to be looking for opportunities to deal big economic damage right now. If he can... I don't think he can necessarily take a great fight at this point. He first needs to take care of his opponent's eco. And whether that's with a mine drop or a marine drop, he definitely still can do it. Supplies are very close, especially when you're considering army supply. The income is close because of the mules. I mean, we're working off triple orbital against 65 workers with 33. So, ooh, sloppy start of an engagement here. Mines don't burrow in time. Mines in the back will burrow in time. There's only 3 remaining of the initial 5. Now the Marines are moving forward. Get sent back home. 2 more mines show up. Don't want to move too far forward though. So Mutalisks try to make a sweep into the main base here of Clem. Ling Runby will get caught by this... will not get caught by this mine, but will most likely get caught by this Marine force. Same time, these Mutas aren't doing much of anything. We'll try to take out an eBay. It's probably one of the most useless things you can take out at this point. It's not really necessary anymore to get anything out of that eBay. Clem needs to do something about this eco dose. Down 700, 800 minerals a minute. Ultralisk are now on the menu as well here for Reynor, which means that cost efficiency will not remain high for Clem. And thus economy becomes the main factor that can still save this game for him. He's going to be able to take out the base. If he can take out all of these drones as well, that would be absolutely huge. Big play here out of Clem. If he can evacuate, or maybe even... Nah, I don't think he can kill these 2 Ultralisks, but does kill 18 workers, doesn't quite get the base, but also gets a good trade at the same time. So, altogether, this is a dream scenario. 2 mines are going to give their life for liberty, but not liberty for them as they die. Marines are gonna get, well, home semi-safely. Mines are over here. Reynor attacking right now almost feels like a desperation move, realizing he right now is the one that's behind, is not rebuilding any workers. This game could get close, or it could just end here. As Unburrow, huge error out of Clem. Accidentally unburrows all of his mines. Is going to be losing a lot of his SCVs if Reynor decides to. But no, Reynor says, I think I can just straight up kill you. And without any mine shots going off, I think that might just be the case. All of the medevacs are going down. Clem micros back to his homestead, but it's not quite going to be enough. I don't think so. Banelings on the low ground, not really engaging with this army. I think Reynor should be focusing on perhaps taking down these orbitals, because I guess there is enough. No micro out of Clem, as he scans a couple of times, is confused as to why he didn't win, and now is coming to terms with his loss as a GG is imminent. There it is. GG gets called, and the score right now is 2-0 in favor of the Italian Zerg. Game number 3 here, between Clem and Reynor, is going to be played on Berlingrad, one of the new maps once again. Let's have a quick look. What is new? What is new here? Nice looking map. Reminds me a little bit of Port Alexander, the way this is set up, by the way. I don't know why, but the moment I saw this map, I had a big Port Alexander feeling. I love it. Aesthetics once again, absolutely marvelous. Like this type of stuff. I don't know why, but I'm such a sucker for it. Yeah, used to click some tires. I don't know. I just love the way this looks. Just this entire aesthetic just is so beautiful to me. Now let's have a quick look at the map, though. Let's zoom it out a little bit. Rocks, double minerals here. Both of them can be mined for 5 minerals, and we'll open up this path. So potential for queen walks is definitely there, because of that type of stuff. It's possible. Of course, also going to be a single force field ramp. Well, actually, maybe 2 force fields this, no? Not quite sure. Hard to say. I haven't quite seen that in action yet. Well, we have an easy accessible 3rd base. I guess this might be the 3rd base that Terrans will go for. The first 4 bases are relatively easy. Even the 5th base technically is quite easy, but you can open up these rocks. And that's going to be one of the tasks for the Zerg player, I think. Like, if you can open up these rocks, all of a sudden you have a lot of angles you can kind of come from. This 5th base, especially once this 5th base gets taken, otherwise run-bys into this might be difficult. There's a bunch of rocks, actually, that, I think 2, yeah, so you have these rocks, then you have these rocks that open the path, and here you can make it bigger. You have this weird kind of neutral bases on the side as well, which could provide for a lot of fun in longer games. The question, of course, is, are we going to see a longer game? These rocks are also kind of closing up the middle a little bit. So if the Zerg can take out all the rocks on this map, perhaps not a bad map for Zerg, but otherwise it is a short map. There is a bunch of chokes here, don't forget. Up here with these rocks, could potentially attack this. Do you want this as a 4th base? Absolutely no way, because you have this type of positions to deal with, and it's just really far away. So I'm curious to see how Reynor is going to deal with all of those threats. This feels as one of the better Terran maps out of the new maps, I have to admit. Berlingrad. So we have, well, two links actually getting taken out. Not a small deal. It's good control out of Clem. Throws down a fast starport here. So we see the first 2 base out of Clem. And when I refer to 2 base in this matchup, what I'm really talking about, of course, is the second gas before the 3rd base. So whenever you're talking about triple CC in TVZ, you're almost always talking about a 3rd CC before the 2nd gas gets taken. It's just a little bit of how we define things in this matchup. Which is funny because in TVP, it's no matter the timing of your 3rd CC, as long as it is before barracks 2 and 3, we'll call it a triple CC opener. So there's just a little bit of a difference in definitions there between the matchups in order to differentiate between the builds better. It's important to keep in mind. Reaper's gonna get almost taken out. Armory on the way, so this will be followed up with a Hellbat push. Of course, require that armory in order to get them Hellbats out. This might actually go into a double factory play later on. I've seen things like this happen before out of Clem, where he'll throw down a 3rd CC, then throws down a 2nd factory. It's gonna be a Liberator as well. So it's going to be Medevac, 8 cars, Liberator, Tech Lab on this barracks, so most likely going to be for Stim. And then most likely a 3rd CC. Now these Hellions are not doing much of anything yet. 3 Marines are going to join this push as well. What is there for Reynor? And the answer is, well, 6 Queens. Period. Ooh, this is an interesting drop here. Now we have these Marines. Good pickups here out of Clem. Good start here for this little push. As 2 more cars are getting sent across the map. First Hellbat goes down. Queens have to expand a little bit of their energy. Medevac needs to move back as well. 2nd Hellbat is about to fall. Medevac falls, and that could be the end of the push here. Clem decides to pull back. Liberator, where are you? Where art thou, Liberator? Oh, it's being sent out right now. Another Liberator. Triple starport units. Hellbats go back in. Clem ideally, of course, wants this push to still be going on as the Liberator goes in as well. And as of now, that doesn't really seem to be the case. These bad boys will turn into Hellbats. Here comes the Lib. Let's take a look at that response time out of Reynor. Sees something on the minimap. Is not responding yet, though. Now sees it as he gets the notification. 3, 4. 4 workers go down. Scary moment. A lot of larvae also fall. As a Reaper makes its way into the main base. And 2nd Liberator is about to pop out. Now, this looks like it's okay-ish damage. But I actually think that with the timing of these barracks, we always have to... You can't see this damage in a vacuum, right? You can't say, okay, well, some Queens got traded, some Hellbats got lost, and this Liberator is getting some kills and is forcing away drone mining time. That's all nice and well, all right? That's not the issue. The problem here is that in the context of this game in which Clem is on a low worker count, has a late 3rd CC, delayed his barracks by just a crap ton. Like, this is not enough damage, and there's just going to be a very large timing window in this game in which Reynor will have the ability to drone up. So it just feels like Clem needs to do slightly more than this. This is a nice dead space, by the way, for things to... Holy crap. You can park an entire army here and they wouldn't even notice you're there. This is insane dead space. What in the world? I didn't even realize. You can fly all the way around. Good lord. This is hell to play against. Wow. Wow. That actually is quite crazy. I didn't realize that. Alright. What are these Hellions going to be doing? They're scouting for a fort base, but fort base is being taken over here. This is a dangerous position with tanks. Like, this just looks freaking scary. This map looks genuinely very good for Terran in TVZ. But so far, Clem not really showing that yet, as his initial Hellbat push did fail a tiny tad. Right now, 1-1 is finishing up for Reynor, who once again is going into a Lingbane heavy style. Not going for that roach style that we've seen some of the Koreans try to employ against Clem. And even Saryl's been kind of fond of that recently. You see the move out with the Marines, and the Medevacs will join up midway through, as Clem likes to do it. This is standard procedure for the French Terran. Hellions will once again turn into Hellbats to make another stand here. And this actually looks kind of scary here for Reynor, I have to admit. Forgot to build Banelings. Baneling speed not done yet. Well, you can't just surround that because there's Hellbats. If it wasn't for the Hellbats, that surround would have absolutely won him that fight. The Marines are getting a little bit lower. One of these queens will go down. Second queen will fall as well. Marines can get picked up and the Hellbats get... well, they get yeeted out of the game. One of these medevacs needs to be careful. Yeah, you can't just drop in there, I think. It's too dangerous. 83 workers, though, for Reynor, who's already taking a 5th base as well, 8 minutes into the game. That doesn't sound necessarily insanely fast, but it is quite quick just because of how this game went, right? With that early Hellbat push, with those triple starport units, medevac into Liberator, like this is a good timing for Reynor, who's already on 83 workers, and he always manages to squeeze out those high drone counts, which is just so impressive to watch. Also impressive to watch. Lingbane getting moved in. We'll try to deny these Marines from killing creep. Not quite going to be possible. A bunch of creep tumors have already gone down. Good. Oh my good. Beautiful control there out of Reynor. Only losing 2 links against those 2 mines. Total. Overseer is moving in and both of these mines should get taken out at this point. Is Reynor once again giving a bit of a masterclass on how to deal with these difficult to deal with Terran units. 2-2 is here for Clem, or is on the way here for Clem. He's going for this 5th base. He's gunning for the 5th base, and it's an important base for Reynor to keep, because he wants to start mining from there in order to really kickstart his eco. He already has good income, but that 5th base could be could kind of catapult that income to something higher even, which would be nice for him. 3 more barracks on the way for Clem. Already has a 4th base. We have some of that double drop action coming in as well at this point. Lots of Hydras, and thus the efficiency of those mines getting a little bit lower will always get cleaned up eventually. Baneling count not too high in this army though. Clem taking a pretty decent trade here. Is going to try to maybe take out another queen. No, will move back. Yep, there goes one of them mines. A couple of Banelings getting targeted down here by this Marine squad. As these 2 medevacs are... Well, this army is trying to play catch, but first of all, they can't fly. Second of all, there's just a little bit too much dead space. This is a good rotation out of Clem. This is a very dangerous rotation because majority of the army is here. This was a scan out of Clem saying, hey, is your entire army here? And if so, what do you have on your 5th base location right now? And the answer is not a whole lot. There's going to be 4, 5 mines, a lot of Marines as well. And I think Reynor needs to go for a resplit. No, the mines go in. 2 mines get taken out for free. So the first 2 mines don't shoot. That was a huge pickup. Absolutely massive. Needs to be very careful here. Another no shot on the mine. And so far 3 mines have gone down without doing much of anything. Reynor needs to be careful. These 2 medevacs are going to get thwarted by the queens. As these mines haven't shot at all whatsoever. Nice. It's a beautiful control out of Reynor. Making sure that Clem doesn't get what he wants with those small armies. Clem wants quick, efficient trades. Maybe take out a base there, but... isn't happening whatsoever. Now we might get a good mine shot. No, good split once again out of Reynor. He is so on point today. He's on fire. He's absolutely on fire. And now we're starting to get into the dangerous territory because there's a whole lot of Reynor. There's an infestation pit on the way, which means that soon we're gonna have Hive, Lurker Den, Seismic Spines. Baneling count also is pretty high, 26. I'm not sure if an attack out of Reynor is possible, but I mean, there's no tanks for a backbone. I could perhaps see it happen. This army might get caught here, would be painful. Yeah, it's kind of getting semi-surrounded here. Mine goes down. Where's the rest of the army here? And this is the problem with these randomly spread mines. Is usually they're great. Oh my god! Last second pickup. I'm not quite sure if that worked out though. It feels like a lot of those units did end up dying. Base needs lift. There's so many Banelings. There's so many Banelings. There's 1 mine remaining. Does not get the connection on the Banelings that Clem wants. That base does get to go into safety. More mines trying to burrow, but this control out of Reynor, this game has just been absolutely fabulous. Magnificent control out of the Italian Zerg, who's now rolling in and will take out Clem with a composition that we haven't seen in a long time. A win without lurkers, pure Hydra Lingbane. As Reynor puts himself on match point in this best of 7, 3-0. Game number 4 here is going to be played on 2000 atmospheres, the updated version. I'm saying that because in the Blizzard post about the maps, Blizzard specified that 2000 atmospheres would be updated. Except no one really knows what they updated, as the map looks exactly the same. So it's still a bit of a riddle what they did exactly. I mean, if they were gonna update it, they might as well have added 1 or 2 critters, you know, while they're at it. It seems like that hasn't happened. You still have the purple fish swimming around. You still have... it's just the same map. At least I haven't been able to discover the difference yet, but perhaps it's something performance-wise. It's always possible. You see some PPs, some tanks, and some goes. Potentially the final map here in this best of 7. In Clem and Reynor. Reynor showing up in force today, by the way. Showing us some good StarCraft 2. Clem not really getting done what he wants, though, in these early games. Every single time it feels like these early games just haven't really been going his way. I guess on Pride of Altaris, the second map, we did see a decent game out of him, but that map is really difficult for Terran. It feels like whenever Clem gets a good Terran map, he wants to finish it quickly with some Hellbat push or with some with an Atrax. And then when it's worse maps, he starts playing macro. And it feels like he kind of mixed up the order there, so that's odd. 2000 Atmosphere is going to be the map this time around, which is considered a good map for Zerg. Slightly Zerg favored, if I recall correctly. At least when I talk with Terrans. When I talk with Zerg players, this map is slightly Terran favored. I'm a Protoss player, so I don't have an opinion on these things. I just get to sit back and I watch them fight for once, you know. Just make sure to not make any noise so they don't start turning on me together. Start complaining about disruptors or blink TTs or carriers, you know. Once these guys are doing their infighting, you just grab your popcorn, your nice chair, and just sit back, you watch. Make sure to not crunch too loud on the popcorn, because it might alert them that something is going on. You just sit back, relax, and watch. That's all you gotta do. Triple CC opener out of Clem. We'll be heading into... triple CC. So maybe... Could be Starport. Could be Barracks. Clem's kind of been giving up lately on that second Barracks opener, though. Used to have a very cool second Barracks opener before the factory. Then go into some type of scuffed 2-1-1 version with 2 Hellions for some map control. Making sure he isn't being all-in. And he's had a lot of success with it, but lately we haven't seen him play it, and there's probably a good reason for that. Starts kind of figuring out how to counter that. So instead we're going to be seeing once again... I expect this to be a Banshee still, even though the Tech Lab is slightly late. I really like how that works, by the way, is that the Tech Lab takes 18 seconds and the Starport 36. So halfway, if you build it halfway, you're always going to be in time. Just there's a lot of little things like that, where it's like halfway. It's the same with the Cybercore and the Pylon. The Pylon takes 18 seconds, the Cybercore 36. So if you're proxying your second Pylon, you have to proxy it when your Cybercore is halfway. Or well, ideally slightly earlier you get supply block, but that's a different story. For the perfect tech timing, you need to proxy that 18 out of 36. I can't think of any others at the moment, but some interesting background information, you know? I wonder if we're going to be seeing 8 cars. I'd assume so. Double Starport units, 8 cars is the standard. Depot on the low ground. Car 3 and 4 are showing up, making sure no fort base is going down yet. Or no, it's not like they can really do anything about it, just really checking. Like, hey, is there a fort? Hey, is there a third? Hey, what's happening here? He's going to try to drive in with these cars. It's not quite going to work out for him. Car 5 and 6 and car 7 and 8. And soon we will see the barracks starting. We already see one of the SCVs being rallied over there. And SCV 2 is also being sent right now. So we have, whoop, barracks 1. This bad boy will lift. And we'll immediately see this turn into a reactor as well. Or we should see that turn into a reactor ASAP the moment it lands. Yep, there we go. Reactor immediately, same time. Clem is still trying to harass a little bit. Is getting that full wall up. It's important, of course. Just making sure no run-bys can happen while these cars are out on the map having a blast. Hop, one of the tumors is going to get taken out. Cloaking field's about to finish as well. We're currently on 3 spores. Yep, 3 spore defense this time. Because this is the line-based formation, 3 spore tends to be fine. Ooh, we're actually seeing a fort. So Reynor just very fond of that 4th spore, I guess. Not quite sure why, but I'm not going to question the world champion. Current world champion, of course. Reynor winning Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. 2 more barracks on the way, so that's barracks 4 and 5. E-base finish up as well. We'll see if Clem hits a tighter timing than he did in that, what was it, the first game that he played? Wouldn't surprise me. No overseer yet here. Hell, there's not even a layer yet, which means that these Banshees will be able to push out a lot of damage. Interesting move forward out of these Hellions. It's going to lose 5 basically immediately, so although it was an interesting move, it wasn't a very good one. It's like seeing someone jump from 2 stories into the bushes with the prickly thorns. It's like, well, that's interesting, but I'm not quite sure how good that is for your body. Might not want to try that again. Banshees do get a decent amount of damage. I mean, if this was just by themselves and Banshees kill like a couple of links, they kill 5 workers, they take out a creep tumor, I'd be happy, man. He can cloak this, by the way. Yeah, there we go. But because he also lost 8 cars for it, it's, well, it's a little bit less good. The one thing that is nice is that the fort base out of Reynor is extremely late. The worker count isn't that high. So even though all... Oh, hello. Oh, we're gonna need to raise the depot. We're gonna... Well, actually, seems like a bait at this point, this tank. Oh my god. Clem absolutely baiting Reynor into attacking that tank. That's at 16, 17 links that just went down for free. That was huge. That was very big. This tank is getting repaired, and if Clem had the ability to move out with both of these tanks, I think that Reynor actually would have been in some major trouble here. But as it is, that's not going to be possible, of course. Hellions did die, and you do need something to deal with potential run-bys. Clem is very aware of that, and one of the tanks does need to stay at home. Marines are moving forward. Here comes a run-by into the tail end of this army. Clem not really paying attention to that, at least not quickly enough. This is way too many queens to truly engage. No, yeah. Clem needs to move back. Loses a tank, loses a couple of Marines, and this looked like a very dangerous push, but ends up just being a... well, hardly a needle prick that Reynor is feeling here. A couple of these Marines will go down. Slow pickup out of Clem. Combat shield is about to finish up. 1-1 has finished up. Once again, Reynor slightly up in upgrades. Hydra then coming down already. Baneling speed on the way. After 2-2. That is how confident Reynor is feeling in his position. Who's floating an insane amount of money, by the way. Currently at 1k 600. 1k gas, 700 gas. This is really bad for Reynor. He just doesn't have the larva. He's not injecting properly. Needs a macro hedge, and he needed it about a minute ago. 5th base is about to finish up, so that should help with the larva production, but he's struggling spending his money. He's down 12 supply, and he should be up about 15. Right now gets a couple of units out, but still has a lot of money in the bank. No baneling speed is annoying him at this point as well. This 5th base is going to get taken out, which means less larva here for Reynor once again. Still struggling to spend his money. He's been floating... well, between 1k and 2k total resources for the past minute and a half. Which is just really painful. Tanks siege up in the back. Good split. Good split. Very nice split out of Clem. Perhaps another scan is viable here. It is definitely viable. It's going to get a lot of creep tumors. Good target fire on those banelings. Doesn't get all of them. Needs to go for the pickup. Gets the pickup. Goes home. Tanks in the back. Don't have the backup reinforcements. Did not have the reinforcements to pull off this move. So 2 tanks will go down. Decent trade in the end for Reynor. Fort base is in position already for Clem. Turns it into a planetary. Worker count very close. And Clem, this is the Clem that we know. This is the Clem that we love. And this is the Clem that tends to destroy every single... Well, except for that. So far this game, this has been absolutely fabulous to watch. He is playing very, very quick. And Reynor is struggling holding on. Not just because he's been floating money the entire game through, but also just because Clem is playing very fast. And he's playing his old style with a good early game, or with an okay-ish early. Not great. I mean, he lost a lot of cars for drones, but it's a fine early game. He can live with this. A couple of barracks being built in random locations. A couple of tech labs will go on there. Start the Marauder production. Start the Marauder production. Okay. Double mines burrowing right now. I'm wondering if pure mine is the answer to these larger Hydra counts, by the way. So Reynor seems to be enjoying playing with big Hydra counts. Interesting drop here. Seems to be a very aggressive play. I don't see any mines here, but then again, you can't see everything under these medevacs. Boost is not here. Boost is not off cooldown, which means one of these full medevacs is gonna go down. This push gets pushed back. This gets pushed back. Clem needs to be careful. He's losing a little bit of momentum, and that's definitely not what you want. Liberators in production. So Liberator's going to be the weapon of choice here for the French Terran player. And it's so funny when you see, sometimes you see Zergs trying to catch Clem off guard, but Clem hardly, like maybe 5 or 3% of the times that they try this, he gets caught off guard. And all the other times he just snipes 2-3 banelings for free. I don't think it's an actual a good expected value play out of Zergs to go for that. Because even if you get it, you get what, like 10-12 Marines every single time, losing 3. Depends a bit on the percentage, I guess, that it does happen. Where Clem does fail. Depends on the speed of the game. How many things are going on. Lots of factors there. As these Liberators are going to get taken out. Poor push out of Clem. Bad decision. Understandable. Wanted to set this up while kind of keeping Reynor busy on the left side. But Reynor already kind of marked that threat on the left side as gone. And now he's going to be pushing forward. There's still a decent amount of banelings. The supply is high here for Clem. But I don't quite see in what it is. I guess a lot of it is in Marauders and Medivacs, maybe. These Marines are going to try to take something out. If this 5th base gets cancelled, by the way, or if it gets taken out, that could be a huge issue, because Clem just has more income at this point. Yeah, Clem's just winning this game. Clem is in a fantastic spot here. Mines are moving forward. Needs to be careful, though. Not a lot of DPS in his army. Once again, army looking small, as his army supply isn't that much larger, and he still has those split armies, still has a lot of units in the barracks as well currently. Needs to probably just pick this up and leave at this point. Marauders are great against banelings for tanking. They're great against roaches. They're good against lurkers. But if you're fighting against big ling numbers, their DPS is just very mediocre compared to a marine. And often you prefer more marines. Medevac's gonna survive with actually a single HP. But for how much longer? Well, for about 10 more seconds, as Reynor should be capable of finding it. Medevac gets taken out. Reynor kinda stabilizing with the lurker then right now as well. Hive is done already. +2 is on the way for him. 3-3 is also on the way there for Clem, and Carapace is not even starting yet for Reynor. And Clem's playing the game of his life once again. This is just classic Clem. Classic Clem here. Slightly too many Marauders maybe still in this army. Mine spread not optimal. Of course he fixes it the moment I start criticizing. Yeah, this is such a difficult army to fight here for Reynor. Mine's actually not connecting with as much as I would think, but Reynor is lacking in creep. Reynor is lacking in eco. And Reynor is just lacking in general in this game. He's not been good enough to fight Clem so far. Forward rally here, Liberator showing up as well. We see that the Liberator's in the same control group as the Bio, which means that every time he tries to stutter step, the Liberator also tries to stutter step. Doesn't quite work on Libs. This single Lib's gonna try to do a little bit of damage. Queen in position will have to deal with that. I think we'll be able to deal with that, but was a cool little move. Could have done a lot of damage. Lurker's now in position. Seismic Spine is about to finish up, about 30 seconds away or so. Big Ling run by is coming in as well. There's a lot of units at home, and seems like this game will continue into its next phase. Oh, that's a good mine hit. It's one of the first big mine hits that we've seen in this series. This has been the story of the series so far, is Reynor just microing his heart out with these links. Perfect splits, time after time, except for this time around. And I think Clem is going in for what feels to be the final blow, in my opinion. Creep has disappeared all from the map. 3-3 upgrades are about to finish up. 6th base is on the way. Yeah, Clem is just in an absolutely fabulous position. Once again, Liberator is going to try to harass this base. This time we're going to need to see a slightly bigger response out of Reynor rather than just having an idling queen deal with it. Scans forward, mines. We'll be able to push back a lot of these links and banelings as well. Lurkers in position. Should be able to make short work of that. That mine should go down. No. We'll be able to dodge the spines. Yep. Boom. Haha. One drone will go down and the other turns immediately into a spore. 3-3 has finished up. This time it's going to be a ghost, by the way, rather than more tanks. We don't really see a second. Well, we have 2 factories, I believe. Yeah. No tank production yet is surprising. So we're going to see a higher momentum playstyle out of Clem rather than the more usual tank style. This army is actually getting pushed back. And now that you don't have tanks, Perhaps a counterattack is a viability? Is it? Reynor seems to sure think so, and where's the backbone of this army? I don't see it. Planetary is gonna go down. Not enough ghosts yet to truly set up. Usually, not only is the tank kind of a backbone in the late game, but it also works as a transitional unit into bigger ghost counts. Like once you get 12, 13, 14 ghosts, sure, you can deal with these higher lurker numbers, but before that, you're just going to be struggling a lot, because this is what tends to happen, is you snipe, and then a lot of the snipes gets cancelled because of the spines. Oh, now we see a couple of snipes going down on the... Oh my god, brilliant pickup here out of Clem. Reynor is bleeding a lot of units at this point. Okay-ish hit, not the greatest thing in the world. Lurkers over here taking out a lot of the production. A lot of the production that is building ghosts, let's not forget about that. Almost all of the tech labs are outside here. And we have 2 tech labs and then 1 in the main base most likely. Yep, over here. Lurkers are coming back in. This army can't really be taken out. These Hydras will get shot. And so will some of these Lurkers. But Lurker count just a little bit too big. We need some type of counter-aggression. We need this army to somehow get back home. And I think Clem is actually running out of scans at this point. What do we have? We have no scans remaining currently. 0 scans on the map. Luckily that lurker does end up falling. Still 170 supply against 168, but I mean, just more and more lurkers are moving across the map to reinforce this position. Cloak isn't done yet, which means that these ghosts are not only kind of vulnerable, but they're also most likely just gonna die the moment that Reynor wants that. Clem does end up stabilizing, but this base, 30 workers going down, this base getting low, and all of a sudden Reynor is ahead. Yeah, this is what happens. You lose one fight against Lurker, you can't give away the momentum when you're playing against Lurker. Especially if you don't have an appropriate tank count or a lot of Liberators to set up positions. There is no bio army that can fight against Lurkers. Not against, not with pure bio, it's just not possible. That's what we see here. As Reynor wins game number 4 as well. Wins the best of 7, 4-0 against Clem. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you, and ciao ciao.